For months now, every YouTuber I follow kept saying one name, Claude. Claude this, Claude that. Everybody was switching to Claude. And every single time I said no, because I was already paying for ChatGPT. I was already paying for Gemini. There was no way I was paying for a third subscription. So I said no for a long time. And then I tried it. And I'm a little embarrassed to say how wrong I was. By the end of this, you'll know what Claude is about and whether it's worth it for people over 50. Hi, I'm Chantal and welcome to AI for 50 Plus, born before Wi-Fi, owning AI. If you've been following along in my channel, you know I usually walk you through tools like Notebook LM, my absolute favorite, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity. Today, it's the one that I've been ignoring. So what is Claude? Here I am in my browser and I went to Claude.com, download Claude. You go here and you download it from here. In my case, I have a Mac, so I download it here. And this is what it looks like. It's a lot like ChatGPT and Gemini. It's an assistant. And you see here that is the chat box that you're used to. And as you're used to probably as well, here on the left, you have all of the chats. So you type and then it answers. And it's made by a company called Anthropic. I had this before because that chat part here is free. And I could use it. And I did use it before I started using it a bit more and testing it to write some bedtime stories for my granddaughters. The reputation of Claude, they usually say that it's the careful one. It's especially good at writing. It's a very good writer, which is why I was using it for my bedtime stories. It's very good at also at following long set of instructions without wandering off. But when YouTubers say Claude, they mean a different thing. And what they mean is those two tabs here, Claude Cowork and Claude Code. And that's where you build your helpers or skills. And that's where the everything is switching excitement is coming from. It was mainly around code, also around Cowork. And that side here, Cowork and Code, is the side that you have to pay for, that I was refusing to pay for. It's $20 US a month or $17 a month if you pick for the whole year. Just to say that most of the noise on YouTube comes from this corner of the room. A lot of the loudest Claude Code, Cowork fans are tech people, coders, and which is exactly why I assumed for the longest time that it wasn't for me because I'm not a coder. And that assumption is the thing I want to take apart because one of the things that Claude is best at turns out to be a thing that a lot of us can actually use. The question you're probably asking, I already have ChatGPT, Gemini, Notebook LM, even Perplexity. Why on earth would I want another? Fair question. Think of it like having a few different people you can call. You're not limiting your friendships or your relationships to one person. You have different people that have different interests. It's a bit similar. So for example, I'm in Google Gemini here, and Google Gemini I still like because I use a lot of Google products. It's in the Google ecosystem. Gmail, Google Docs, Drive, of course, what else? Sheets. It's very useful when you're heavy into that ecosystem because it's seamless. It's really great. The other one, ChatGPT, still one of my favorites. ChatGPT is one of the best known, and it's an all-arounder. It does a lot of things really, really well. And I prefer ChatGPT for the tone and also for brainstorming because when you go here into the settings and you go in personalization, I find that you can personalize it more than either Gemini or Claude. And yes, I know that in Gemini and Claude you can put instructions, which you can do also in ChatGPT, but I find that it's easier to get the tone you want faster with ChatGPT. So it's still one of my favorites. Notebook LM is another one, and this one is one of my favorites of all time. And it's a bit different, that one. It's one that takes into account your sources that you put here on the left. So it has almost zero chances of hallucinating. And Gemini, ChatGPT, and Claude can hallucinate as well. So Notebook LM is really on a different level. Claude, that I have here, is the beautiful writer and the one who actually listens, even if you have a lot of instructions, before opening its mouth. And if your task is about writing a letter, a story, a tricky email, anything with a lot of careful instructions, Claude tends to hold the thread better than the others. Now, unfortunately, Claude's free plan is more restrictive on usage than you'd like compared to the others. And even on a paid plan, the limits are tighter than on ChatGPT. And Claude isn't some magic upgrade that replaces everything else. It's a different flavor, not a better everything. And I still use my other tools every day. The reason I went from no to okay, I'm in, wasn't a feature list. It was something I actually built. You probably guessed that I run this channel by myself. The ideas, the scripts, the thumbnails, the titles, the descriptions, the tags, all of it, just me. Some weeks it's honestly a lot. So when I kept hearing about Claude Code and Cowork, this idea that you could build your own skills, I was curious. But you know me, I don't just jump in. First, I took a tool that I already trust, and here I am here in Notebook LM in my Learn Claude Code and Cowork notebook. And I built this notebook with 96 sources, all YouTube videos that I kept seeing. As I said, everybody was so excited. And it was explaining what it is, what's the difference between the two, because it wasn't clear for me, how you build skills, which ones are worth trying. And I had Notebook LM explain it to me before I touched anything. But I still stopped because I didn't think that a skill could help me. I thought I needed to build something more complicated, like an app. But then one of my favorite YouTubers mentioned, just in passing, barely a sentence, that he'd made a skill to come up with ideas for his videos. A skill, something much simpler than a full-blown app, because I had tried an app with the equivalent of Claude Code with Gemini, which is Google AI Studio, and of ChatGPT, which is Codex. In both cases, I tried to build an app for my channel exactly for that, to find ideas, and it was awful. I'm not exaggerating, sitting at my desk, yelling at my screen. I'd been told that I needed all this complicated setup by Perplexity, and nothing worked the way it promised. So I almost quit. But that little video about a skill in Claude Code kind of clicked. So I went back to Notebook LM, this notebook, and I asked, is it possible to do ideation and title and thumbnail and as skills, but not as apps in Claude Code? And it said yes. And then I paid. That $17 a month I swore I wouldn't spend, I spent it for the whole year. I didn't pay only for 1 month. I paid for the whole year. After everything I told you about not wanting to a third subscription, I know. But let me show you why. So let's go into Claude here, and I'll go into Claude Code. The first skill that I built was the ideation one, and it came together so smoothly, I laughed out loud. I felt like I was cheating on Notebook LM. You have it here, my very first skill here, ideation YouTube skill, and it even built me a beautiful Notion, let me show you, idea tracker. New ideas, what keep, discard, and made. I mean, this is a thing of beauty. I thought it was a fluke, honestly. I thought it was beginner's luck. The first one, that ideation skill, took a couple of hours, not because it was difficult, but because Claude sat me down and interviewed me. It asked me about my channel, my audience, what I prefer in terms of scripts, what I preferred in terms of titles and thumbnails. I had documents to put in there so that it would see what I liked and what I disliked. I had a list of banned words because I didn't want my script to sound AI. So it built that first skill around my ideas. But then after that, and you see all the skills here, title and thumbnail, descriptions and tags. This is a list of my skills and plugins. SEO, YouTube skills, audit, competitors, monetization, brainstorm. That one, I think I'm going to make a video on that one because I have a council of 5 advisors where Claude looked at all of their blogs, their YouTube videos, the books they wrote, so that they could advise me on what I should do next on my YouTube channel. Then I have the outline and script skill. And I have the YouTube strategy skill and the short list skill, because you saw in my Notion ideas tracker, there's a lot of ideas. So now it ranks where I should be going based on what the brainstorm, my advisory committee, and the strategy actually told me what I should be doing. Analyze looks at all of my stats in my YouTube studio. And that's about it. And I have 5 more skills that I'm waiting to develop. Repurposing skill and fact-checking skill to look at the script to make sure that everything that's in there is actually true. Anyways, so I have 5 more. I end up with a suite of, 18 skills that I might change into a plugin, but that's a discussion for some other time. Each of these skills, especially the title, thumbnail, and description and all of that, took less than an hour each. I mean, it was like mind-boggling how easily it did. And what got me was when you'll see here that I have some videos. So video 48, 49, 46, and 47, which is this video here. I used those skills to make those videos. And the one that really got me is that when the script came out, it sounded like me. It didn't sound like AI. Of course, I had a lot of instructions and I had a list of banned words, and I still tweak them and work on them because I wanted to, to sound like me and make it more my own. But it worked, and these skills saved me so much time. I mean, I'm so excited. It's like the work that used to take a big part of my week, now I can finally share the load, but it still sounds like me. And my titles sound like the ones that I used to do as well. Now, I'm not telling you to go build skills this weekend. That's not the point. The point, it's what it showed me. AI can actually build things for you easily. And that's what Claude is good at with skills. At the beginning of this video, I asked you, so is it worth it to try Claude for people over 50? But before I give you my verdict, if you need practical one-on-one AI help, I'm offering AI clarity sessions. Look at the pinned comment or the description for more details. Now, what is my verdict? And I had a long list of arguments to present to you, but you know what? I just showed you. It's mind-blowing how useful Claude Code and Claude Cowork has been for me in the last 2 weeks that I've been using it now. And I've used Cowork as well to do some tasks in the background, like cleaning up my Gmail, and I know everybody talks about it, but in my case, for example, I had AI newsletters that I kept getting from 3 or 4 different YouTubers that I really like. And I said, look, I don't even want to have to look at them. I want you to take them, to take the best parts, to summarize them, to do on Notion, give me some pearls from these things and things that I could try. And it did. So, I mean, it's great. It's great. So the verdict is a definite yes, unanimous. Like, it's only myself, but unanimous. And now that I've tasted Claude Code and Cowork, I'm going to actually go back also to ChatGPT, which I use a lot, and Codex, which I've used just a bit. But apparently, Codex is like a mix of Claude Code and Cowork, and it's as mind-blowing. So I'm going to try it, and I'm going to make a video about Codex as well, because if it's as simple as Claude Code and Cowork, it's worth it, definitely. So thanks for watching, and see you next Thursday.